What if I tell you that your whole web project just got 10 times faster with a single change, that is introducing TypeScript 7 inside your project? So finally, Microsoft has made an announcement where they are releasing TypeScript 7 release candidate, which is supposedly going to be a stable release relatively to whatever versions that we have seen in the past. And you can use this new compiler. And within the first paragraph itself, they mentioned TypeScript 7 is often about 10 times faster than TypeScript 6, which was in JavaScript, which was in TypeScript. This one over here, however, is written inside Golang. So this TypeScript code base that we are talking about is written in Golang. It's not written in TypeScript itself. It's not written in C, C++, or even Rust, which was supposedly one of the options Microsoft wanted to consider by the time, when they were deciding. But they eventually landed on Go as a programming language because the semantics of JavaScript, which was the initial language where TypeScript's compiler was written, and Go language was very similar. Rather, TypeScript, I should say. TypeScript was written in TypeScript, but of course, now they have converted that into Go. This architectural parity ensures the compiler continues to enforce the exact same semantics you already rely on. TypeScript 7 has been evaluated against an enormous test suite that we have built up over the span of decade, and it's already in use in multiple multi-million line of code bases both inside and outside of Microsoft. It is highly stable, highly compatible, and ready to be put to the test in your daily workflows and CI pipelines today. So this is a big statement coming out of Microsoft where they are announcing that yes, you can go ahead and start using TypeScript 7 in production in real workloads, and we are ready to whatever bugs or hopefully no bugs, but whatever you are able to reproduce, that is probably one of the weird edge cases. For over a year, we have been working with many internal Microsoft teams along with teams at companies like Bloomberg, Canva, Figma, Google, and so many other companies, and more to try out the pre-release builds of TypeScript 7 on their code bases. The feedback has been overwhelmingly positive, with many teams reporting similar speedups, shaving off a majority of their build times and enjoying a much more lightweight and fluid editing experience. Now, there are massive implications of what just has happened, because TypeScript is basically not just a programming language. You can consider this as a programming language. Sure, and we can talk about how good or bad this is depending on your preference of JavaScript. But what you also have to realize is that TypeScript also ships with a TSC, which is TypeScript compiler, right? So this TSC, which is there, this is the only software that can reliably tell whether your TypeScript is good or not, right? If you look at other tools in the market, if you look at, for example, Bun, which claims that it can run TypeScript, right? If you look at Node, which also claims now it can run TypeScript without any transpilation. If you look at tools like ESBuild, all of them actually claim that they can somehow work with TypeScript, but TSC is the only tool that can actually tell whether your TypeScript code is right or not. What I mean by that is that if you have a code which is looking like this, const A 10 and const B string 20, and if you have something like console log A plus B, you can try this right now. I encourage you to try this while you're watching this video. If you write this program inside a file, inside VS Code, and if you run this with Bun, Node, or even ESBuild, you will not get an error, right? Even though this is an error, right? You're casting this as a string, but you're supplying a number. The only program that can throw an error on this is TypeScript compiler, right? And TypeScript compiler is natively integrated in all of the IDEs that you're using, whether that's Z, whether that's VS Code, whether that's Cursor, any of the editors, right? So TSC repeatedly checks this and figures out, that what's going on, if anything is right or wrong or whatever. So the implication of this is that this feedback loop itself is going to be 10 times faster, right? So if your TypeScript compiler itself, which is what the whole thing is about, it's faster, it's going to be 10 times faster in doing like a to and fro with your IDE. But at the same time, because this programming language also has a build step, I mean, TypeScript does not really run directly, right? I hope all of you know that TypeScript's build step is effectively just invoking TSC over here. The assets that you get finally, the JS files, whatever files, whatever other output files you have formatted as. When you get these files would be emitted 10 times faster again. And this is super helpful if your project is big enough. You're writing, something which is, if you're using libraries like, for example, Zod, which are very TypeScript heavy. If you're using something like Keisli, which is a query builder. Keisli also has like, I don't know like what's the state right now, but Keisli, when I was using this actively in my previous product, previous company, this had very interesting and nested use cases of TypeScript types, right? So again, like these would have a lot of benefit because of the speed up, this 10x speed up that we are getting now. This also sort of reminded me of this tweet that I did almost like 2.5 years back, that my threshold for quitting programming forever is the day AI writes full TypeScript compiler in Rust. Now, this was not the time when I knew about the rewrite, obviously. But I mean, I feel like this time is coming now because of the rewrite that we saw with Bun, like how those guys just did a complete port from Zig to Rust in like 1 week. But I like this about TypeScript that they have actually spent a lot of months in just stabilizing the whole thing, right? Instead of just, I mean, I don't want to say vibe releasing because I know like Bun has not vibe released it. But still, I would prefer if I'm using something in my day to day work like TypeScript, I don't want suddenly 1 week later that there is a release which has not been properly tested out in the wild and we don't really know if this is stable or not. And that has been like the biggest complaint that I have seen so far of people doing the Bun rewrite as well, just complaining about that. So this blog post goes a little bit into details of what's going on over here, but I want to give it a spin myself. So let's take a look at what's going on. Now, before we actually get into the examples, I feel like this deserves a little bit of call out on its own. So TypeScript 7 actually has a bunch of interesting breaking changes as well, right? So if you look at this, you're going to see that they mention, with that said, TypeScript 7 adopts 6 new defaults and provides hard errors in the face of any flags and constructs deprecated in TypeScript 6. This is notable as 6 is still relatively new and many projects will need to adapt to its new behaviors. We encourage developers to adapt to TypeScript 6 to make the transition to TypeScript 7 easier, because 6 itself has a bunch of these breaking changes, right? So strict is true by default, which is something always is recommended, which is supposed to be a thing that you should anyway do. Module defaults to EX next, which is again like good. Target defaults to the current stable ECMAScript version immediately preceding ES next. No unchecked side effect imports is true. So I mean, all in all, like they are actually improving some of the defaults by default, right? Which is good. Then there are a bunch of deprecations. Target ES5 is no longer supported. Down level iteration is no longer supported. Base URL is no longer supported. So a bunch of things. If you're using all of them, you would probably want your AI agent to take a look at the blog post and just make those changes. Awesome. So there are a lot of things, a lot of interesting things, but all in all, what we know for a fact is that the performance is going to be great. So let's try that out. All right, awesome. So as you can see right now, I am inside my TypeScript compare folder and I'm going to launch my Claude instance over here. And what I'm going to do right now, let me just zoom out a little bit. I'm going to press my function key and I'm going to create a prompt for my AI agent for us to compare the performance of these two TypeScript versions. So I'm going to say, hey, Claude, I want to create a simple application. Maybe you can just create it in 2 different folders. In the first folder, I want you to use TypeScript 6, which is the older TypeScript. And in the second folder, I want you to create using TypeScript 7. In fact, as a matter of fact, let's just use TypeScript 5, not TypeScript 6, and then TypeScript 7, which has been recently released, because I want to check the performance difference. So it's important that you also go ahead and create something complex or something that, maybe just gives us a clear picture of how TypeScript 7 is much faster, much better. And I need to see this clearly. So create a simple application which I can evaluate against that. So you can feel free to like take whatever choices you want to take. And I want to test it out. So just do that. All the best. So when I leave the function key now, you're going to see that we get, this sort of block, because again, like it's a lot of text. But if I hit enter, you're going to see that this whole text actually came in as it is, right? And you can see that this is also slightly LLM parsed, so that it makes a little bit of more logic instead of just random uh, text blob which is coming out. And you can see like it also got the "so I'm going to say" sort of thing. What I just did is powered using Willow Voice, which is also today's sponsor, and it's the best way for you to use your voice to dictate prompts just like I did and create applications using AI. Maybe even use AI for this AI voice to text converter for drafting emails, just writing social media posts, writing replies. And because this is not just a simple voice to text, but rather a voice to text plus an LLM in order to understand like if the translation has been done properly, you actually get polished outputs every single time. I'm also going to go ahead and just drop the blog link for it. I don't know like if it has actually seen. I think it sort of has its own, I don't know, like how does it know? Maybe in the training data set itself, but it's better that if it just goes through the blog itself. Now, while Claude is building the app, let me take a quick moment and show you how Willow Voice works. So all you have to do is visit their website, download it for free of cost. And once you download it and install it, you're going to see that you have this little icon over here, just like I'm showing in the middle of the screen. Every single time, right? Every single screen that you're browsing, you will have this. All you have to do is press the function key and start speaking. Hi, Claude, what's up? How are you? And once you do that, you're going to see that it automatically formats it. It automatically takes care of punctuations, paragraphs, even some errors that you're making, right? And it instantly inserts it if you already have the focus on the text input. If you don't have it, then it will just copy it to your clipboard. So while this is actually building, let me also just go ahead and talk a little bit about why. What is the reason TypeScript 7 is so much faster? Like what's going on with the Go port and not exactly sort of like a rewrite, which is also something that, just trips people up a little. So this is a Golang port, right? That is what they are saying. It's not a rewrite. A rewrite sort of, indicates that you have basically thrown away what the code base is and you have just started from scratch. It's a port. That means it's sort of like one-on-one representation. So for example, a bunch of functions, the way the code is organized, the way everything is looking like, it's just ported from TypeScript to Golang. So that's first. Second of all, the thing is that Go language, which is, what the compiler is right now, supports parallelism, right? Which is the biggest thing out of everything, is that it's far easy to parallelize the work in Golang compared to in TypeScript. Because in Node.js, fundamentally, like, when the compiler runs, it's using Node.js under the hood. Node.js does not really support parallelism as such, right? Or at least not on the CPU bound tasks. And for CPU bound tasks, the type checking is basically almost all of that is CPU bound, right? Because you have to go ahead and construct a import tree, an abstract syntax tree, all of that. And except for like file reading part and just importing the files, everything else is a CPU bound thing. That means your CPU is actively burning, not your disk, not your memory, anything like that. And in case of Node.js, if you want to spin up like, multiple sort of like, if you want to parallelize things, you do have like worker threads. You have the ability to spawn new processes. But I mean, none of these approaches, like any approach that you take over here, none of them are actually as powerful as languages that support parallelism by default, right? So that is, of course, like one thing. And second of all, Golang is a statically compiled language, right? So obviously the compiler has much more time ahead of time in order to use and see the type information specified by the language itself and optimize the program. TypeScript, which internally runs with Node.js, which uses V8, yes, this is good that, it has a JIT compiler and it can sort of like, you can expect the performance to match at some point as you keep on doing the work. But still, like, JIT is not as fast as statically compiled languages if you do it right, which the TypeScript team is doing it right. Now, this whole thing also has a pretty interesting implication that, we have seen over the time that Bun, Dino, these sort of things like even Vite, for example. Then we have ESBuild, we have Oxy, we have a bunch of more formatters and linters and all of that. A lot of them are actually in native languages, right? So they are JavaScript toolings, but they are not written in JavaScript. And the best one, the most versatile one, which has just joined this group, is now TypeScript. So probably it's not a bad time to say that JavaScript tooling written in JavaScript is coming to an end. This time is coming to an end where you would use a high performance, or where you would want like a high performance, supposedly a high performing tooling written in JavaScript itself, because we have seen time and time again that there are just benefits of using things like Rust, Golang, something which is not JavaScript, for building tooling for JavaScript. We are seeing that JavaScript is very hard to replace, right? On backends and on front ends, whether you like it or not, whether you're a fan or not. But the toolings can be easily replaced, as we are seeing. All right, so Claude cooked for about 20 minutes now, and I don't know like how much tokens did it take. I spent about $3.50 on it, and I think about a bunch of like close to 100k tokens overall. But anyway, what it gave us looks something like this, where we have these bunch of files. One is TS5 app and one is TS7 app. It has given us some results at the top, where TypeScript version 5 took about 19.4 seconds and version 7 took only 3.48, which is about 5.6 faster. Now, of course, like this will vary from system to project to project, but the core idea is it's in that 5 to 10x range speed up, which is pretty cool. And this would actually be super useful for even bigger projects. So I asked Claude to also create this index.html file, which was sort of like, the an interactive version of how things are going. So let me see how it has created. You can see like, I don't know, like this is actually, this seems like hard coded, right? Because how are we landing on the exact same numbers again? But anyway, the idea is that I asked it to give it sort of like a, like an interactive file as well, an HTML file, which explains like what's going on. I mean, this looks a lot of text, but the idea is the same, that it has created the sample code base, which has, thousands and thousands of files with nested recursion and, just more and more interesting fields that TypeScript has to resolve at the compile time. Recursive generic types, for example, 8,000 modules wired together. So it has done a bunch of this work. And all of that results in about 20 seconds on an older TypeScript version, but only about 3.5 seconds on newer TypeScript, which is crazy. So awesome. Like, I also recommend you guys, if you're running your own sort of like little benchmarks, you can always ask Claude. You can ask it that, can you do this where, just explain me interactively using an HTML document, not in terminal, because in terminal, the best it'll do is something like this. It'll just give you like a table. But if you want, like, if you're a visual learner, you want colors and stuff, you can just ask it to create an HTML document and it does a good enough job. But anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. Hopefully you liked it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Do check out Willow Voice, that works directly from your voice to prompts that you can send these agents and even more. And I'm going to see you in the next video very soon. If you're still watching, make sure you leave a comment, "I watched till the end" below to tell me that you were still here, and let me know what do you think about the video.